visionary, revolutionary. I'm a visionary, revolutionary.
What's going on, everyone? It's Camille Salamander, and I'm here with my co-host, KB the Mark.
Cause I'm a fucking mark for this shit.
We came together to talk about some news that needs to have a conversation going around. Today we got 3 stories. So the main stories that we're gonna talk about is the main event. We got the ratings. We got news that WWE had planned on putting the third Uso on the main roster before they put him on NXT. And of course, Triple H return. Without further ado, before we get started, go ahead and leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and push that notification bell to stay up to date with all uploads from the channel. Now, let's jump into the first story. WWE considered placing the third Uso on the main roster before NXT. Now, Solo, he was speaking with BT Sports, and he revealed before making his NXT debut, WWE had considered putting him with the Usos on SmackDown. But due to him being hesitant, they decided to put him in NXT instead. Now, my question to you, we already established like how I felt about it, how they should have went about it. But if they did put him on the main roster, how do you think he would have ended up?
Well, you know, I don't want to get WWE. I don't want to shit on them. I really don't, because I feel like if they would have threw him on there, they wouldn't have gave us any backstory. He just would have been an Uso. So I kind of like the NXT route, but I also feel as though that you guys could have just thrown him out there, because he's not really doing anything on NXT 2.0 that's really grabbing people's attention. Mm-hmm. You know, he's not doing Braun Breaker stuff. He's not as interesting of a character as a Grayson Waller or Cameron Grimes or a Carmelo Hayes.
Tony D'Angelo.
Or my guy, Tony D'Angelo. You know, he's not really captivating my attention, at least, like that. So looking back at the entire 2.0 run, I think it would have been more beneficial to him to just throw him onto the main roster. He could have came up, you know, the Usos could have introduced him, or even better, Roman Reigns could have gave him the endorsement. But see, that's a whole nother storyline, because now Roman's absence will make sense. Hey, your brothers are tag team champions. I'm the world champion. We want you to hold the other singles gold, but we got to make sure that you're worthy. And this could be Roman being off TV. Now you give it a storyline meaning. I'm gonna be off TV. I want you to hold down the fort. Not saying you got to be as dominant as me, but I don't want to see us losing more than we winning. And that could be his test. Roman comes back, does what he does, and he checks in periodically with the third Uso to let him know if he likes it or not. Because I just can't, and I've been on here even talking about the character. I don't, come on now, kayfabe is dead. I know I sit here and joke about it. You got to keep kayfabe alive, but kayfabe is dead. I don't believe that this dude, or I don't believe that the third Uso was a street fighter on the islands of Samoa. I don't believe that. Like, your brothers are the Usos. Your cousin is Roman Reigns, bro.
Your daddy Rikishi.
Yeah, like, wrestling runs through you, bro. They didn't just leave you on the island and say, we'll pick you back up when you 15. Like, that shit didn't happen. You were just better off just throwing him on the main roster, and he'll learn that way. There are exceptions. Not everybody has to go to NXT. He could have been the exception.
Yes. Now, I do kind of like the NXT route. I just don't like the name. I think they should already make it known that he is a Uso, because now when you put him on the main roster, when he go on the main roster, you gonna pair him with the Usos in the tribe. You feel me? So how are you going to explain that? Because I mean, the way WWE is going right now, he's gonna go through a gimmick change when he going to the main roster and a name change. So they're gonna call him Solo Uso, but ain't that both the same thing? Cause ain't don't Uso mean one?
I don't know what Uso mean. I know Solo. Solo typically means one.
Or mean cousin or something. It's something like that. But you got any more to say about this news topic before we move on to the next one?
No, because I want to spend a lot of time covering Triple H.
All right, so we're gonna talk about the ratings. As of recording this is Thursday, so NXT Dynamite. AEW Dynamite ratings haven't been released as of yet, but Monday Night Raw, the episode drew an average of 1.986 million viewers on the USA Network, which is up for the 1.695 million viewers it did a week ago. The 18 to 49 demographic rating had clocked in at 0.54, which is up for the 0.43 rating it did last week. And this is the best key demo and total viewership that the show has experienced since April. Now NXT 2.0, the show drew 637,000 live viewers on the USA Network, which is up for the 613 viewers, which is up from the 612,000 viewers it did a week ago. In the 18 to 49 demographics, it did a 0.18 rating, which is up from the 0.12 rating it did last week. Now, do you got anything to say about the ratings of this show? Do you think... scratch that question. Do you think Vince McMahon appearance on Raw helped the show draw more audience this week?
Yes, because I think he showed up right at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, he opened up the show, yeah.
Like he showed it, like he didn't open it, but he showed up at he was the 9 o'clock. That's they were saving that. They typically would either put Cody at that 9 o'clock. If Cody didn't open, he was doing something at 9 o'clock. Vince McMahon stepped in at 9 o'clock.
What if every week he just comes out on Raw and SmackDown and it just get more stranger? Like what if next week he said, if you go on WWEshop.com, you can get 33% off of t-shirts. Thank you. Welcome to Monday Night Raw, and leave.
No, he's not gonna be needed. John Cena's coming back.
Yeah, I know that, but I'm just saying, because it's just showing. All right, since all this stuff is kind of like we already know what's going on with Vince right now. It's obvious he's not gonna totally step all the way down. That's obvious. So, what other way to basically show his dominance and basically saying you're not scaring me than to appear on TV? Once all this broke out, they made an announcement right away. He appeared on SmackDown. The promo he kind of cut was kind of, if you read between the lines, it shows that I'm here, I'm not going nowhere, whatever. You feel me?
Pretty much.
He came on Raw just to say some shit and then leave. I guarantee on SmackDown he's gonna come out again and it's gonna be like ridiculous. Like I think he's gonna make ridiculous promos that's short, fast, to the hurry, but just showing his face on there because he know right now he got this whole controversy going on. It's gonna bring viewership. So why not capitalize off of it? If I'm stepping down anyway, why not show my face on the TV so that way we can benefit from this?
You know, when people are really making this into a big deal, it's really not that big deal. It's not that big a deal, bro. He cheated on his wife. It happens in everyday life. Wives get cheated on every day, B. He's just in a position of power. I've sat here and told you Vince McMahon is uncancelable. You can't cancel Vince McMahon. It doesn't work.
Yeah, that's why with some people. I knew it was real when the Breakfast Club reported on it. I was like, oh shit, this is really real. It made like basically national news and shit. So I'm like, damn. And then I'm like, just hearing people talk about it, it seemed like they surprised. Like, if you're a real wrestling fan, you've been watching wrestling since the 90s, are you not really surprised? It's like okay. Just like when it came out, I was like, I'm not surprised. This is Vince McMahon shit. And he was putting shit like this on TV back in the early 2000s and the 90s.
I mean, not to try to belittle the situation, out of everything that could have happened, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Like this is the tip of the iceberg for Vince. Like this. Go ahead.
I do think this is the start, though. This is the start, and it's gonna start with this, and this gonna lead into more things being revealed that he's done that's possibly worse.
Think so?
Yeah, it's a different age of time nowadays. They bringing stuff up from people what they did 20 years ago, and they getting canceled for it. So I guarantee you, some shit that happened in the 90s or whatever, it's gonna come out.
I mean, multiple corporations, companies, people have tried to cancel Vince McMahon. It's yet to happen. I don't see Vince McMahon being canceled.
That back then was a different time. This is a new time. If you say the wrong things, it's a wrap. This is a different time. I mean, if it was that case, why step down anyway? He stepped down for an obvious reason.
I don't think he really stepped down. I just think it was just something to show face. I'm gonna play fair while this investigation is going on, but he's still doing creative, and he's pretty much still running the day-to-day operations.
For how long?
Until the investigation is done, and if it's deemed in the public eye that it's something that is unforgivable, I still don't see him completely stepping down. He'll step away from, I'll say, for about a year or two, but then he'll come right back and assume his CEO position. It'll be done very quietly. No, it won't be reported on. And then after, I say 3 years after he regains his power, then it'll hit the news circuits. But then there'll be another report saying, well, Vince has been in power for like 3 years.
I'm telling you, the moment he step away, that will be the best time in WWE history. You know why?
Why?
Because of this man, Triple H return. During today's Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer, he talked about Triple H's return and noted more details will be revealed in the upcoming days. But it appears that Triple H had gained more power in the company once again. WWE, they had given more responsibilities to Triple H, and over time since returning to office, he's been working full time. Now, my question to you, I have two questions here. One, is he going to run NXT again? The second question, what does his return means for the main roster?
I don't see him running NXT. Even when he was running NXT, it wasn't going anywhere. Like NXT had its moments. Mm-hmm. Back, early 2010s, that was it. That I say like 2013 to 2017, yes. But that's not what that NXT is. I think he'll leave that to Bruce. If anything, I say it's going to definitely benefit the main roster. My question to you is, what show do you want him on? Me personally, I want him writing and being head creative for Monday Night Raw, because Monday Night Raw needs it, and have Paul Heyman be head creative for SmackDown. You're going to get the best.
That's what I said before. Yeah. I said Triple H should be head of the booking and shit, and then make Paul Heyman head of creative. But or you could do like that, have Triple H run Raw, Paul Heyman run SmackDown. Yeah, I could see. Yeah, it would be better. We need that type of wrestling. And then if Triple H is involved, can we say Indies is coming back to wrestling, coming back to WWE?
Well, here's my thing. I kind of like the NIL. I like just all of these athletic WWE superstars that's giving wrestling a try. So they have a nice pipeline. Maybe you can keep the indies out, because Vince McMahon's vision was to have something that was long-standing for generations, and WWE has done its part. But maybe it goes out and it truly defines itself as sports entertainment.
I think in the near future, what I kind of see what Vince is doing with signing college athletes and stuff right now, I'm thinking it's going to be, because let's keep it real. you're gonna have to take NXT off TV sooner or later.
Yes.
Like NXT gonna have to go back to the network or
Yes.
Peacock.
Yes.
These stars, these college stars, boom. You can already have them in the performance center and on NXTs. That way, while they're in college, they also doing what they doing in college, and then learning how to, work the crowd with WWE and all that shit like that, and all this shit. So that way, when the time come and they graduate, and then they also have like a good like 10 people that's ready to be on Raw or SmackDown. You know how back in the early 2000s and shit, where we could get a debut and be on Raw or SmackDown, and then we just follow the star and shit like that. It'll go back to that, like we just getting random debuts or whatever. But once a year, instead of doing like the WWE draft, they have that, but it'll be these upcoming stars that get drafted by Raw, SmackDown, and then within there, of course, if Raw got the first 2 picks, but SmackDown got the 3rd pick, they can make a trade for the 1st and 2nd pick, and that's when they come in. They can trade people who on their roster back and forth and shit, stuff like that. It could be like that because if they going in that route, it seems like it because they're not trying to get indie people. They're going after people who's in college who basically not gonna go to that next level. That's who they targeting. So it seems like they're going in that route how all these other sports is. Like you gotta at least be removed from high school for 3 years or something like that to even be qualified. So that's what it seems like they're doing. But I can see that in the future, them holding like taking the WWE draft shit real serious.
No, I agree, and I like how they were doing. I like how they're doing it now in NXT, where you have established veterans coming down. I think that's the future recipe. Who's the top guy right now? Braun Breaker. He's the
I wouldn't
NXT
want that on
champion.
TV though.
No, not on TV. But
Yeah,
Braun Breaker.
I would love that to be on the network or something. And then it's like you hear about, like if you was a SmackDown guy, you only watch SmackDown, you didn't really watch Raw like that, and how they used to get a recap of Raw during SmackDown. And it's like a quick recap of shit what happened. I would love that to see. We watching on Raw, SmackDown, you see a quick recap of NXT, and it's like it's gonna be back in the how it was before in the early 2010s. Like when you want to watch NXT, you want to watch the takeover, you have to tune into the network.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, I like how they're doing it now with the established stars, because I think that's the way to go. Like Braun Breaker's the champion now. Apollo Crews is down there, so Apollo Crews should beat Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker should be called up. Now, who's gonna be the guy to beat Apollo Crews? That's who we need to be building up. When that person beats Apollo Crews, no. When whoever beats Apollo Crews, they're the guy. Now we send another established talent who isn't really doing nothing. We send them down there. Now whoever's that guy who beat Apollo Crews, your time is now. This is your time. You're getting ready to be called up.
That's being too much. Like you can see, it's too much of a scene that, because you can easily tell that all right, he lost Spoon, so we already know the next person that they building up in NXT is going to be the person that take the belt off, and then once he becomes champion, then we see a main roster star appear on NXT. We know that person is going to take the belt off of them, and that person will move on. It's too predictable. Like that.
Wrestling itself is very predictable if you sit down and watch enough of it.
True. It is true.
I mean, I'm pretty sure me and you have sat there and we've sat down and talked about matches, but ultimately, we watch so much of it, we can call out spots before the spot happens, and we're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
We just watch a lot of it. But I see your point. And it does, but that's when you could always, they have breakout tournaments. That's when you can sprinkle in a breakout tournament. You got a new crop of people coming in, boom. And now instead of sending that main roster guy down, whoever you were building up in that breakout tournament, you can throw them in there. Maybe sometimes they win. Maybe they get a fluke win. 1, 2, 3 kid the situation.
So what if they do something like a battle royale, an 8-man battle royale, or an 8-pack challenge match, right?
Right.
6 is NXT stars, like the up and coming, and then 2 main roster stars. That way it's harder to predict. It's either one or the other.
I like that. I like that. I'm just saying, like, I just like how they're doing that now because we can always find something to do with those stars on the main roster who aren't doing something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's too much wrestling in this company for them not to have something to do.
I think they have too many house shows. They could do so much. Like they could. WWE has so much like talent. They can run a week round wrestling show. Like I would love for it to be how ESPN got Sports Center if they had some shit like that for wrestling. But they just don't talk about WWE. They talk about everything. I would love if WWE would pick up like fuck promos after your match. Everyone like got a press conference. What you do? Would you feel like it's better? Like they got the media there. Well, I want WWE magazines to come back. All that shit, like treat it like a sport. That's why I like Japan so much because after every match, you have a press conference. It's like in the NBA or the NFL after your game, they talking and shit. So I like that.
Yeah, I like it too. You add a sense of realism to it. So
maybe some people start respecting it more.
I guess
seeing it in a way like you changing it to actually for it to become a sport and shit like that. Because you see now, some people is realizing like, man, this shit is a sport. Especially people who like did MMA or some shit like that, and then now they're coming over doing the wrestling shit. Now they're seeing like, all right, yeah, like it's not what people think it is. Like people say it's fake and shit like that because it's like you can't fake getting hit with a chair. You can protect yourself as much as you can, but you can't fake the impact of what everything's gonna happen. And shit, you have to trust your opponent. Your opponent, if fuck up and you break your neck or some shit like that, you break a bone and shit. We seen it happen in the ring multiple times. So the shit is not fake. Just like I think the same thing. Wrestling is like a movie and shit. If wrestling fake, movies fake. People believe in movies and shit. People watch movies and think they John Wick and all that stuff too. So why can't I watch wrestling and feel like I'm John Cena? You feel me?
No, I do. Just a couple more points. You're definitely right. But you know, my bigger problem when you have these crossover athletes is that nobody sits these motherfuckers down and say, hey, unlike UFC, unlike whatever sports you came from, you have to be able to talk. So before we even throw you out there, we're going to put you in promo classes for 2 months.
They don't want to. They want to cap. They don't care really about the talking because they're capitalizing off of who they are. Because it's like if basically if this person in UFC, you know, they be having like a little press conference too, and you know like this person he's really not a good talker for real. So he come over, or you hear somebody like, all right, that's a great talker, but you know UFC, you say what you want. So you cussing, whatever you're saying, whatever, you can say insults and all this shit. Don't have to worry about it. It's different in WWE. So I can see why they would struggle a little bit with them talking this shit, especially because it's so scripted.
I mean, we've already run into the situation of Ronda Rousey. She can't cut a promo. She's boring. She can't sell you on anything. Like, you know why John Cena worked so well as a babyface? Because he could sell me any heel as a top challenger.
I think the problem with Ronda is that they trying to make her sports entertainment. Like, she needed to have the fears that she had in, you know, the UFC. The only thing different is that, you know, I'll still let her cut the same promos like that, just like, you know, well, since WWE is trying to go in the way they going, they'll cut down on all the, you know, the cuss words, like, you know, the bitches or whatever, stuff like that. But I don't know. I feel like if you let Ronda be Ronda, I think it could work. I just think they're trying to wash her down, make her into this character that she obviously not.
I mean, Ronda came from UFC as one of their top women's fighters. You know what the problem is? Like, she only has one finish, which is the armbar. Remember when Bryan Danielson was...
Yeah, capitalized.
I mean, but I'm just saying, like, remember when Bryan Danielson was beating all of the Dark Order, but he would do it with different moves? And you're like, oh wow, so Bryan Danielson doesn't just have to do the cattle mutilation. He can stomp your head in, he can lock in a heel hook. He just has a multitude of ways to win a match. If you're gonna book Ronda as a monster, then she needs more than one way to win. Like maybe one time she just gets so mad she just beats her opponent unconscious.
That's the difference, right? Bryan Danielson is a professional wrestler. Ronda Rousey, she's a fighter. Ronda, you know, she can't do ground and pound in WWE.
Why not? They let Brock Lesnar bust open. They let Brock Lesnar bust open Randy the hard way.
One time. He's not doing that every match. So with Ronda, you gotta what other way to make her stuff feel more believable? She's a MMA fighter. She did judo, an armbar. Boom. That's her go-to move. So you build around that. Her match, her story, basically every match will don't let her lock that shit in. She lock it in, it's automatically a wrap. So then the story will be, who will be the first person to break out of that shit? Because everybody tap out once she locked it in. That you gotta learn. Like they need to learn how to build around certain things. Like Ken Shamrock, at the time when he was coming in, they was building around his strengths. WWE nowadays, it's like they're going backwards. They don't build around certain people's strengths anymore. They showing you like everybody's weaknesses. Like when you're in the ring, you get to see people's strengths, weakness, and what they need to work on, and it shouldn't be like that. Especially if it's somebody you pushing, you should be only pushing around their strengths. That's it.
I don't know. I just feel like you gotta know how to talk. This is professional wrestling, especially if you're going to be a champion, a babyface champion at that.
Yeah,
you gotta know how to talk.
Of course, you gotta learn how to talk. But I'm saying, like, in the meanwhile, like, that's what managers was for. That was for people who didn't have the mic work. But meanwhile, like, if you're doing some shit like that, you put her with a manager that somebody could talk. Meanwhile, she's working on her promo skills and shit. So then once you start telling the story, you could tell like a breakup story too. Like basically, she don't need him, her, whoever would be the manager anymore. Basically firing them, but then that's when you start telling the downfall of her losing the title. Because then you start seeing like boom, or she let the confidence get to her head, or whatever story you would tell. And then during the match where she would actually lose, that person breaks out of the arm bar and just threw her off her game, and that's how she lost.
I don't know. But we got to do something because Ronda needs all the help she can get on the mic. She can't sell me on anything. The heels got to do the bulk of the talking. And it's like, you were the person that they appointed to beat Charlotte Flair when they snatched it from Sasha Banks.
She's not a baby face. That's what WWE's fucking up at too. She's a heel. I think no, I don't think she is. I think Ronda's best run right now, both times, was when the crowd turned heel on her and how she was like that whole time after that until she left. I think that was her best time.
Bro, she's a baby face. She's smiling all the time.
She want to be a baby face, but she's not. That's the thing. She got to realize that when you come for that other side, the fans already gonna hate you. You can't wrestle, whatever. They already gonna be throwing them insults at you and shit like that.
I mean, but we haven't gotten there yet. But of course, we're gonna get there eventually.
But we got there with the boos, and we didn't get the chance that you can't wrestle. But we got there with the boos. Like, all right, we was happy when you first came, and then it was like, all right. But she first came at the Women's Royal Rumble, they cheered. Boom, boom, boom. Raw after they cheered. That next Raw then was like, all right, you start hearing the cheers go down a little bit. Because then it was like, all right, you here, now what? And shit like that. So that's what it's like now. But she's not, she want to be a face, but she's not. She's a heel. And she can only be a face for a certain amount of time, just like Randy. You can only keep him face for a certain amount of time, but his character is a heel. He only really works as a heel.
So let me get this straight. So what you're saying is she's suffering from personality disorder. She wants to be a babyface. She wants to be loved so bad, but she knows in the back of her mind that they actually hate her and they're waiting for her to fall on her face.
I ain't gonna go that deep, but I'm saying there's a lot of people who want to be face, but they just, they heel work is just better. Like the Miz, I would never want to see Miz face. He just works as a heel. Dolph Ziggler, he just works as a heel because he got that arrogant. So he just works as an arrogant heel.
First off, Dolph Ziggler 2016, the babyface against the Miz for the IC title was one of the best programs ever.
Babyface run. I'm saying majority of his career, Dolph Ziggler been a heel. Majority of Miz's career, he's been a heel. That shit works. Majority of Randy Orton's career, he's been a heel. Like Dolph Ziggler, you could have babyface runs in between them, but they don't outweigh your heel. Your overall, you being a heel. Ronda, I think her best run, because we seen she came in, she was babyface. They turned on her, she was a heel. She came back, she's a babyface. Out of so far, that heel run was the best one. When she just was going to the ring like, I don't give a fuck. And then it seemed like you kind of see that in the ring too, because then she was really, like, her moves a little more impactful. Like when she slammed into the mat, did the judo hip toss, it really seemed like she really did that shit and stuff. When she a babyface, it seemed like she really trying to like she holding back on shit. So it works better as a heel. Stone Cold, throughout his whole career, he could actually do both of them. But if you had to pick, 9 times out of 10, everybody gonna pick heel Stone Cold. 9 times out of 10, everybody gonna pick heel Rock.
I mean, well, everybody loves a good heel.
Yeah. Some heels it just make for you to be a heel. If it works for you, that fits better than your babyface, because everybody not a babyface. Batista, he works as a heel. I don't like, he cool as a babyface, but I prefer him as a heel. John Cena, he's been a babyface for so long, I don't know if I want to see him as a heel. I have to see it. But then that's what I would actually determine, because he only been really heel once, for real. And that's when he first became the Doctor of Thugonomics. And then sooner or later, that shit, he ended up becoming the face within that shit, because we love that shit. So, has he honestly been a heel?
So 2 more questions. This is a Cody Rhodes question. Cody Rhodes is so beloved right now. Does Cody Rhodes stay a face his entire WWE run?
We have to see how it played out, but as of right now, he's face. He's facing WWE, he's heel AEW.
Okay. Number 2.
He face until we say, until something's gonna happen where we're gonna be like, all right, and we ain't gonna get beat excited and shit. It's gonna be something, but we just have to see how it plays out, and for a heel run. But I mean, it is nice to see Cody Rhodes as a face, because I mean, his whole WWE run, he was a heel until Legacy broke up. That he was face for that little moment. Then he got back heel. Then he was doing the paper bag stuff and all that stuff too. So he's been heel. So this face run is pretty good. But it's also the interest in the music, man. They also make the wrestler as well, and that shit is fire. He got the best interest right now.
Nah, he's not. It's not better than Miss Cargill. She's got the Cody Vader, and when she comes up from underneath with that beautiful TBS title and Stokely Hathaway and the baddies, I just get transported to another land.
I don't know. It's something about pyro going off and he ain't there, and once the pyro go off, he's right there. It's like some superhero shit, like teleportation. That's just dope.
All right. Last question for me. Then we'll move on to Forbidden Door predictions in a championship match that I owe you. If you're Triple H and because we know Stephanie's running it right now, so let's just say Stephanie's like, Hunter, get NXT 2.0 where it needs to be. What are you doing?
First of all, I'm taking that 2.0 shit off. I'm turning it back to black and gold. We can have like the way the NXT logo is. Like we could keep that part, take away all the colorful shit, and just put the black and gold logo back on the new NXT font.
Listen, Camille
2.0.
Listen, Camille Salamander. What you're doing here is not in step with the family.
It sucks. I guarantee if NXT go back to the black and gold with the honest takeovers, it is being ran the way that Triple H ran it, I guarantee the viewership's gonna go from 500,000 to that one. They probably will fuck around and pick back up the war between AEW.
Salamander, what you're doing isn't in step with the family. Everything that you do it for the family.
We doing it. This is little do they know this gonna help us. And then I move on to the main roster, and then I fix whatever the fuck Vince fucked up.
Well, guys, you heard it here first. Camille Salamander doesn't want to step in tune with the family, and we all know what happens to people who don't want to step in tune with the family.
This shit sucks right now.
You a hater. Quit hating on my guy Tony D'Angelo.
Wrestling's at an all-time low right now.
Not Tony D'Angelo.
The whole shit as a whole.
Listen, I already told you. The Legatos and Tony D'Angelo, the new Dawn of NXT, that's been the best storyline between both companies. You got to do it for the family. And that's what you're not doing, Camille Salamander. You're only thinking about yourself in all this. You got to step in tune with the family.
Oh, no.
Even the tribal chief said you do it for the family.
Oh, no.
The tribal chief and the Dawn of NXT are saying you got to do it for the family. Remember, Salamander, it's for the family. Moving on, I owe you a championship match, and unfortunately, I can run no longer. I can duck you no longer. AEW Forbidden Door is where I will defend the WBPTV World Heavyweight Championship of the world that I've held for quite a long time. Salamander, not gonna lie to you, I'm nervous. I'm not too confident. There may be a new champion by the time this is done.
We're gonna see.
We are starting off with the pre-show match. We have the Gun Club, Billy Colt and Austin Gunn and Max Caster of the Acclaimed versus a New Japan Pro Wrestling Dojo team of the DKC, Kevin Knight, Alex Coughlin, and Yuya Uemura. I'm going to go with the New Japan team because I feel like this is a team in AEW who can take a loss, but everybody loves the Acclaim and the Ass Boys.
I'm going to go with the New Japan team too because for what I heard, this is something that, Tony Khan is really looking forward to. So I'm really thinking that the New Japan is gonna make an impact. They probably gonna win the majority of the matches. But I also heard that Tony Khan is willing to bring AEW to Japan as well too. So I wouldn't be surprised if he go ahead and let them basically wash their shit. That way they can get the return in Japan.
I like it. Moving on to the main event. The interim AEW World Championship is on the line. Jon Moxley versus the ace of New Japan, Hiroshi Tanahashi. Salamander, I'm going Hiroshi Tanahashi. I think this is going to send wavelengths through the wrestling world.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I think they're going to just wipe clean.
You think they're going to win every match?
Maybe not. They probably lose one. But it's going to be a goddamn, one of those.
Okay. So you're going Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Yes.
You're thinking that Ace of New Japan makes history.
Yes.
All right. We have the IWGP Heavyweight Championship on the line. Champion Jay White. Switchblade. Jay White versus Cowboy Shit. Hangman Adam Page. The Rainmaker. The Painmaker. Kazuchika Okada. And Adam Cole, baby. I'm going to go Jay White, but a part of me feels like Kazuchika Okada could pull this out, and you get another title change, but it's New Japan to New Japan. That's how they get you.
I'm gonna hit you with a okie doke.
Okay.
I'm going with an Adam, but it's not Page.
You're saying Adam Cole, baby, is gonna walk out the new IWGP Heavyweight Champion?
Yeah, but once they go back to Japan, he's gonna drop it. It's gonna be one of those, just like when Jon Moxley had the United States and stuff, and he dropped it. It's gonna be like one of those, like, since they got the open door, he gonna code it, and then he probably gonna drop it on AEW television to a New Japan star. Kind of similar how they did with the United States title.
Okay. We have the AEW All Atlantic Championship 4-way. Pac versus Miro versus Malachi Black versus Tomohiro Ishii. I'm going to go Pac. I feel like this Pac is the most deserving of this, but I can also see Miro winning this as well as his comeback story so he can have his conversation with God. I'm thinking, bro, Miro's going to fight God one day in AEW. He's going to fight God, and I don't know how to feel about that.
Who you going with?
I'm gonna lock in my pick with Pac. I'm sticking with Pac.
I'm gonna go with Miro because why bring him back if you're not gonna put a title on him? Why he been going this whole time? Why bring him back? It's just so happy y'all bring him back when y'all introduce this new title. I think he's gonna win.
You're going Miro.
Yes.
All right. IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship champion Will Ospreay versus Orange Cassidy. I'm going Will Ospreay to retain.
Yeah, Will Ospreay. If they want to shock us, goddamn, that would be a hell of a shocker.
And I don't understand why people are complaining about this match. They were saying, like, out of everybody for Ospreay that you chose Orange Cassidy. I'm like, I guess you must have forgot when we were all saying the same thing with Pac and Orange Cassidy in Revolution 2020, and then they tore the house down before the main event.
Mm-hmm.
AEW Women's World Championship is on the line. Thunder Rosa versus Toni Storm. So I'm kind of up in the air about this. I've been hearing that Thunder Rosa's got a lot of heat backstage. I'm going to go with Thunder Rosa to retain, though.
I'm going with Thunder Rosa, too. I don't think it's time for Toni Storm to get it already. Not yet.
All right. I'm going...
I could honestly, man... If shit don't happen pretty soon within the next 5 to 10 weeks, and Jay still hold that title, I'm honestly thinking they might make history and make a double champion. Put them both up in the feud. Because think about it, if they in the next 10 weeks, Jay do what she do, boom, boom, she's still champion. The only competitor that you could think about putting the title, putting her against is Athena, right? But let's say they keep them away that long. They already teased it, but let's say they keep them away for that long. Boom, okay. Thunder Rosa, this 5 to 10 weeks, she faced who she faced. She really beat them, but it's like the story's really been dull or whatever. Like, all right, whatever. Honestly, who does she has left to face besides Britt Baker? And I know you probably won't run that yet. So you put her up against Jade Cargill. Winner takes all, basically.
I love how in Impact, the X Division, you can cash it in for option C and a chance at the Impact World Championship, but that's you vacating the belt. I would honestly like that idea with the TBS. Let's just say you hold it for like 10 months. And that's the goal. In order for you to cash in for a shot, you have to hold this belt for 10 months.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. Instead of vacating it, it's a title for title. You lose your belt. You win, you keep your belt, and you get the AEW Women's World Championship. I like that.
Yeah.
We have a winner-take-all match. The Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships and the IWGP Tag Team Championships are on the line. Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions FTR, Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, versus United Empire's Great Khan and Jeff Cobb. They are the IWGP Champions versus Roppongi Vice of Trent Beretta and Rocky Romero. I'm going FTR.
Yeah. The FTR be on the road. I will be shocked if anyone else pick up the win. But if somebody else do pick up the win, I best believe it's gonna be Jeff Cobb team. But honestly, I think FTR is gonna win because out of all belts, honestly, that can go to AEW, I think the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, Tag Team Heavyweight Championship is it's gonna be the last one that they could be like, you know what, I fine with that. We'll get it back soon, but it's fine that y'all can keep it.
Yeah, I mean, with the way that AEW does their tag team divisions anyway, you don't really need another set of tag team belts in there.
Yeah.
You already have enough with FTR being the Ring of Honor champion showing up on Dynamite.
Let's imagine them showing up with that in the IWGP Tag Team Championships and then going for the AEW Tag Team Championships.
And
they gonna be
winner take all. And a winner take all.
Nah, they just adding on to their resume.
No, I'm just saying they're gonna have to challenge the Bucks.
Nah, they gonna challenge the Bucks because right now they hold 2 belts. The Bucks hold 1. So they challenge them, win it. They're gonna basically be on their own Kenny Omega shit. They're gonna challenge them, win it. They got 3 belts now. Then they're gonna go back to AAA, get them tag titles. Now they got 4.
You already got the AAAs.
So then right now they got 2 right now.
Yes.
So they win this, better get 3. Yeah. Then they get the AEW titles and they got 4. And then after they get them, they got 4. Then you can do a winner take all. But who will be worthy enough to take 4 belts off of FTR?
Nobody.
Right.
Listen, I told you wrestling is all about moments. Can you imagine next week's Dynamite when FTR walks out with not only the Ring of Honor tag team titles, but the AAA tag team titles and the IWGP World Tag Team Championships? The crowd is going to go nuts when they see 3-belt FTR. They're going to lose their shit.
You know something that's better than 3-belt FTR?
What's that?
4-belt FTR.
Yes. Now they might lose. Now the crowd who gets that entrance might legit lose their shit.
Look, then they get the belt. They be 4-belt FTR, right? Then we see something we thought we would never see. No, before we do that, they go to Impact. Take their belts.
Challenge the Good Brothers. Oh my.
Take it. Now they 5-belt FTR, right? Then we see something we thought we would never see. They challenge the Usos. Take their belts. Now they 8-belt FTR or 7-belt FTR. That ain't gonna never happen though.
Bro, if I swear to goodness, if I see FTR with 7 belts, just crown them the greatest tag team of all time.
Yeah.
They can retire, drop every belt at once, say, we done. We won every belt. We've held every belt simultaneously. There's nothing else we can do.
How many matches left?
We have 3. I'm gonna breeze through 2.
I got a question for you, but I'm gonna save it towards the end.
Gotcha. Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and Minoru Suzuki versus Eddie Kingston, Wheeler Yuta, and Shota Umino. I'm gonna go Eddie Kingston on this one because I feel like they're gonna lose blood and guts.
I'm gonna go with Wheeler because ain't he with the Blackpool Fight Club?
Yes.
Yes, I'm gonna go with him. That's a safe bet. Safe bout. He be on the road.
Zack Sabre Jr. versus Bryan Danielson's mystery opponent. Now, he cut a promo on AEW saying that the person who's going to take his place is going to be a new addition to the Blackpool Combat Club. I was only thinking, when I heard the announcement, I was thinking only 3 names that really came to mind. Jonathan Gresham, Cesaro, or Johnny Gargano. And I've been listening to some different podcasters who do this shit in the communities. And everybody's leaning towards Cesaro. He does fit the mold of the Blackpool Combat Club. But something tells me that Tony Khan has Gargano in the back pocket. And I think he was waiting until he could get his Rebel Heart thing. Can you imagine if Zack Sabre Jr. walks out and we hear Rebel Heart, Johnny Gargano's Rebel Heart, and that's who walks out?
It is Johnny Gargano.
You think it's Gargano too?
It is.
Salamander, I don't know if my heart can handle hearing Rebel Hearts in an AEW. 20,000 people at the United Center are going to go ballistic once they hear Rebel Hearts.
All right, look. Forbidden Doors in where? Chicago, right?
Yes.
All right, so Johnny Gargano is already supposed to be in Chicago. Okay. Is it a coincidence that he's supposed to be here when He doing a signing at a Chicago car show. Excuse me. Is it a coincidence that Bryan Danielson can't wrestle Zack Sabre, right?
Right.
And just so happenly, one of the first people who is speculating to be his replacement is in Chicago doing the card signing. He's gonna have it. Just like you said, you think he was trying to wait to get clearance to use the song. He probably already got this shit. Everything's probably already greenlit, and they just needed an excuse for him to be out there, just in case if he gets spotted. And that's his excuse. He's doing the car signing show. He probably would be there, but I bet you he dipped early so he can make it.
20,000 people are gonna lose their shit.
Yeah. Really.
Rebel Hearts is gonna hit the PA system, and 20,000 people are gonna send. It's gonna be louder than the return of CM Punk when Rebel Hearts hit.
Really. And then soon after, we're gonna get the All Elite picture.
He's gonna be the real Johnny Elite. Salamander,
Johnny Wrestling will be back.
I don't know. I'm going with whoever the mystery opponent is. You don't hype this up for a L.
I'm not gonna say what you said. I'm gonna put his name on there. I'm going with Johnny Gargano.
You're saying it's Johnny Gargano.
Yes. That's a bonus. So if I get this right, I get 2 points for this.
I will give you that.
Yeah.
I will give you that. Last match. Bullet Club, Young Bucks, Hikuleo El Phantasmo versus Darby Allin, Sting, Shingo Takagi, and Hiromi Takahashi. I'm going Bullet Club.
Yeah.
Why will Bullet Club lose?
I bet so. I'm going Bullet Club because Sting and them, they be on the road lately with the wins and shit. So it's time for them to pick up a loss.
That's it.
So my question to you is, I forgot. It's gonna come back to me. I ask it on the next episode. But that's it, guys. Go ahead and let us know what you think about today's video. Go ahead and let us know what you think about the news, the predictions. Leave your predictions in the comment section below. Don't forget to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, push that notification bell to stay up to date with all uploads from the channel. I'm Camilo Salamander. It's KB the Mark. Simply, we some fucking marks that love sports entertainment.
And I'm a wizard.
I started with nothing and came out a king. I've been the one that's been ballin' for rings. It's been me and my team and we chasing the green. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free.